Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Ta-da! It's here, it's muddy. Did it work? I don't know. Do you know? We'll find out very soon. So we have made this A-frame attachment here. We've put a bar across the back. We've got a bit of a dog bone on the back to allow it all to pivot and move a little bit. We converted it with this A-frame from semi-mounted to fully mounted. Why have we done that? Because we need to get across the stream, and if it's fully mounted it makes it easier. But we did find a second bonus. When going backwards with it being fully mounted, the wheels on the back aren't digging in like they would be when it's semi-mounted, because it'd be pushing in rather than pulling out. So that's a real bonus. We fitted some new parts in the previous video. We fitted 2 new universal joints in the PTO shaft. We fitted some new grease nipples. We fitted a new drive belt. Some new lifting pins. A new top link pin, because it never had one. Might be a bit second hand, but it's new to this, so we still count it as new. Most of the things we have managed to unseize. These handles now turn, but the horn rollers are still kind of seized in their brackets. Maybe they'll come loose with time. Maybe we'll have to put them in the workshop, I don't know. But we've had it out. It is dirty, and let's see how it performed.
Well, it's a wet Saturday morning. We're just going to see if the potato lifter will actually lift potatoes. I'm not convinced. It might just lift a load of clods of wet soil, but here we go. Give it a try. Storm a few days ago. There's a tree next door neighbour's gone down. Highly technical driving. The gates. We've got to try and decide whether to fit between these trees and come this way, or to go over the slightly wider bit but it's a little bit boggy. So I think to try the narrower bit, but we'll see what she thinks. I've done a few strange hand signals. It's a bit terrifying when you first start it up, because it doesn't half clap and bang and rattle. a lot quieter when it's working. You know, we have a couple of potatoes. sprockets. It's surprising.
Nice.
I'll take that as a win.
It's nice and quiet with some weight on it.
It needs some soil to it quietens it down a lot.
It's better than a fork. Belly's happy.
I know if you could just drive up there with the quad bike and you'll put these, that row was Swedes.
Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd give it a go and see what it worked like. But Belly's got a new ball.
Can I have that as a ball, please? Oi, Belly. Oi, is it yours? I'm not sure whether because we've left it so late in the year. I mean, it is, what's the 14th of December today? Whether the rows have like
Collapsed in a bit.
pushed down and you're not like properly digging into a row.
It might need the home rollers at the front lowering, mightn't it?
Well, I'm just wondering if it's if the conditions were better, they wouldn't need lowering.
If the soil was lighter and fluffier, then it'd sink in better. But remember, all the ground underneath's compacted now, isn't it, as well? Not just the actual ridge is compacted, it's the ground underneath that the water's compacted.
Yeah, I suppose.
You still finding spuds?
I am finding the odd few, not many, I'm afraid. We'll have a meal. We'll have a couple of meals out of it. Say we're gonna get mega fat, but we'll...
Belly, mate.
Oh, she's already been eating spuds. About the first or second potato that came out, she had. Said, I'll have that, thank you.
So there we are, that is the Johnson's potato lifter back up and running. So thank you to everyone that's given us information about it, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And we have the rest of our plots here to do. I can say it is a lot better than using a fork, so we're going to call that a win, and thank you very much. Bigger basket. Ah, we can put it on the front.
As you do the one row, you pick up the previous row.
Well, as you're reversing back, you can fill it up. You know what, my nice light little link box would be ideal for that. Come down, do a row, reverse back up, pick up the row, then do the next one. Easy peasy.
It is loosening them, it makes it easier to park.
What do you think, Roberty?
Well, compared to using this thing, it's an unmarked improvement.
It's a lot better, isn't it? You know what? With the lifter, I looked forward to coming to harvest.
All right.
After doing a whole row of spuds with a fork, I was a bit disheartened.
Yeah, you were starting to lose the will to live a little bit.
I was a little bit.
I mean, it's the soil. We're in. It was 14th of December. I mean, the ground is wet, but it's drier than I expected it to be.
There's a lot of dirt stuck to the web, so isn't there?
Yeah, now, yeah. But, you know, and the webs need to be quite clear for the soil to fall through. But it's that wet and sticky. It is sticking to it. The wet is acting as a lubricant on the sprockets, though.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But it's a bit disheartening that when you look at what we've actually done, we've got a long way to go.
About a week's work, I reckon. Like a solid week at it.
Where I help out feeding cows, what we've picked would probably do a quarter of a day as far as how much his stock eats.
So it's taken us probably 3 hours to pick.
Yeah, and
it would do 2 hours of food for that farm.
Yeah, but then there's 400 and something odd cows there eating it, so yeah.
But to be fair, this machine is not for a huge dairy farm, is it?
No. And it's meant for picking spuds. And if the soil was like sand,
Be ideal,
wouldn't
wouldn't
it? Fantastic. But we're using it to try and pick weeds with it. And you know, I could go out and buy on eBay a second-hand Swede harvester for about £2,000.
Do you think that the media it's lifting is making any difference to how it's performing? Judging by like soil conditions, the media that it's actually trying to get out of the soil.
It's doing it remarkably well, really, considering it's not really intended for that. And it's you know, we've had a couple of little blockages along the way. I think if we spent a bit of time polishing the actual cutting edge at the bottom.
So like you would a moldboard on
like
a plough.
You would a plough, yeah. It might just
if you get it all shined up, and then like if the webs were shined up so the dirt fell off them easier, rather than sticking into the rust.
Yeah.
Maybe. What about your A-frame and this transporty beam thing?
It allowed us to carry it across the stream. I wouldn't want to go bombing down the road with it, but it possibly helped sort of shunting and moving as far as...
It saves them wheels digging in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you're going backwards. When you're going forwards, it'll lift it up and out, potentially.
Yeah, well, it's naturally wanting to climb when you're going forwards, whereas backwards, there's a risk it just wants to plough where we can help it so it's not digging in the ground so badly.
It does stick out quite a long way.
Yeah, it's about 10 foot behind the tractor. Well, the machine's about 10 foot before you have the linkage afterwards. So, yeah.
And what about the A-frame? How's that working out? I think it's done quite well.
I think it's done all right. Everything seems to... You know, we've got these discs of unseized. It's surprising how they've moved, and we've got things starting to...
The handles for the depth wheel will move now. It's just the actual shaft itself, isn't it? That's something to work on, isn't it?
It's worth spending a little bit of time on it now. We know it's sort of going to do what I want it to do. But it would be lovely to have the storage to put this stuff in the dry.
So that when you come to it next year, it's all ready to go rather than
breeding brambles.
But they were free.
Yeah.
It's harvested a Bella.
Belly, what are you doing in there? Yeah, you're not running now. It's safe now. Yeah, it's a bit it's a bit terrifying when you first start it up because it doesn't half clack and bang and rattle. But when it's full of soil and crop going through it,
it absorbs the noise quite well, doesn't it?
Surprisingly calm.
Yeah.
Chief driver, how are you what are your tips and techniques? I think
1200 RPM, so it's running at 540.
although it's terrifying at speed, it does a better job going faster, doesn't it?
It does smash the clods up, doesn't it? And it seems to like fling a finer tilth off, and then the crop lays on top of the tilth.
Yeah. When next year we're hoping that we'll get rid of the weeds in between the rows and possibly be able to heave up between the rows a bit. And I think that will help a lot, because the weeds and the rubbish makes it
the roots of the weeds are binding it together, aren't they, like a turf sod?
Yeah.
Rather than having it crumbly, so you just harvest the plant.
The first few rows we were picking up, it was actually picking up a clod of soil and then tipping it upside down at the end of the row. I've seen some people put some little gadgets on the back to sort of make it into a swath one way or the other, and that it might help a little bit as far as being able to do multiple rows before you have a picking session. But the thought of multiple rows on the floor having to pick up isn't ideal.
So for anyone that's used these, do you have a better way of picking up the crop? Do you have a little table on the back? But bearing in mind, you don't want the table filling full of soil, because we're on quite heavy ground here.
I think if the soil conditions were better, you could potentially drag a
sledge or something.
A sledge behind with some way of catching them. But at the moment, I think if you dragged a sledge behind here, it'd be full of soil.
Yes, I think you're right.
But I mean, didn't they say if the soil condition, if it sticks in a ball, yeah, then the soil conditions are too wet.
That's a very nice ball. You could be a pastry chef.
Don't they say if it sticks in a ball, then the soil conditions are too wet?
That's leaving moisture on your hand. Like your hand is physically wet.
Yeah, it is.
But we don't have any option, do we, really? It's taken till the start of the week for a belt to come into stock. And we've been going at it.
Maybe if we were harvesting a month ago, it might have been a little bit drier. But it's catching the weather. I mean, we've been lucky now. It's dry. The forecast on my phone is wet for the next 4 days. So we were only just going to experiment to see what it was like, and we decided we'd come down and
keep going at it.
Keep going. So, have you been able to zoom across and show them the bucket? We filled the bucket full of.
No, we could show the viewers. And that is the fruits of our labour for the day. So we have pretty much a full bucket, and hopefully that will keep the sheep fed for about a week. Not too bad. Some of the Swedes are really big, some of the Swedes are really small. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. It's not the best idea harvesting with the quad, but it is tread lightly. We are thinking of using a transport box and maybe a little grey Fergie T20 to pull it, but we're not sure yet.
You're trying to justify the raised PTO for the major. If anybody knows of one, Lisa is desperate to fit a raised PTO to her major.
Yeah.
Simple things like being able to disconnect the PTO and still lift the link arms would be convenient. It would help a lot, wouldn't it?
Well, I think in this application where we need to look at shimming the pressure release valve on the major to get a little bit more lift. Not a lot, only a couple of hundred PSI, but just so that it lifts that by itself and you don't have to physically give it a lift at the back.
You can't put your hands on the back and lift it while the PTO's going.
No. I mean, driving down here, we had the shaft off, but it is a hell of a faff to try and get the shaft back on when it's up to the trailer, as in like join the two parts of the shaft together and then put it on. PTO is quite easy, but yeah, trying to get the male and the female part of the shaft together is quite a faff. So if we can find a raised PTO, that'd be great. Was going to get one a couple of weeks ago, but really not happy that I missed out on it. But anyway, Robertie's found a use for the front linkage finally.
Yeah, it carries a fork beautifully on the front. It does, absolutely spot on. when you want to unclog it, you've got the fork to hand at the front of the machine, works a treat.
And with all the weight of the front linkage on it, when you sat on the back of the machine, the front wheels did come off the ground, didn't they?
I can push down on the back and lift the front wheels at the moment when you lift that up. So.
And that front linkage has got a fair bit of weight in it, so we might look at putting a little weight block on the front just to make it a bit easier when we go back up the hills.
Same point is, there's no point in it's nearly breaking the poor old things back. It's sort of, what it can lift is making the front light.
Which is safe, isn't it? It's in its safety zone.
It's on its limit, isn't it? It's working quite nicely with each other. So we were contemplating
a sister ram
rams on the link arms, and we might have a look later to see exactly how heavy that
Robert, see, the camera's here.
Yeah, well, I'm avoiding it. I like avoiding it. Yeah, if we get a chance, we're gonna have a quick look and lift the.
Oh, Belly's getting.
We're gonna.
Belly's just picked that one out for us. Save us harvesting it. Good girl, Belly.
You're gonna bring it here? No, yes.
It's far too constructive.
Yeah, we want to find out how heavy the nose weight of the low loader trailer is, don't we?
Well, the major. What's going on with that now?
Look at the sky in here a little bit. It looks like you are.
It's on the slant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a look at how heavy the trailer is.
So, question is, how heavy do you think the trailer is on the drawbar with a BTD6 international crawler on it?
With winch.
Complete with winch.
And
blade.
And all the lifting mechanism for the blade.
Yep, so how heavy do you think the drawbar is going to be for the tractor to lift? And secondly, what is the most that you know a pickup hitch on a major can lift? Not what you put in a trailer once it's attached, but when you've dropped the trailer down, what is the maximum lift you've had at the lifting eye of the tractor? So just so we know roughly, like, if the hitch on the major's lifting like it should, really, isn't it? It's not down on lift capacity.
No, I think we'll have a look.
It made it squat, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
It made it squat. Front wheels never came up though.
I didn't get a chance to try lifting them while you were lifting.
But overall, it's been a really good success, I think. I'm really happy with it.
So,
another how many acres to go?
It isn't. The whole field isn't much more than an acre, is it? I don't know. I'll have to look at my maps. But no, it would have been nice if the rows had been ridged up a bit more between each row whilst the crop was growing. If we'd have had a chance to go in between each row, weeding them and ridging them up a little bit more, I think they'd have the machine would have got underneath them a bit even nicer. I mean, it is getting underneath them.
Yeah, it's doing a good job.
But we tried it with carrots and parsnips, and it's cut the bottom off some of the carrots.
Half a job, Bob?
I'm trying to think.
Which pocket?
Oh, that's a parsnip. See, it's cut the bottom off a parsnip.
Oh no.
And it hasn't cut the bottom off that though. Yeah, we've not got many parsnips and carrots. I'd like to grow a few more carrots next year and a few more potatoes next year.
But we're going to call that a success, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to call that a success.
So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Belly says it's nice. She said I've caught it. Were you struggling a little bit to steer there?
Only a little.
Only a little bit.
My wellies are a bit wide for the pedals.
I didn't get to see you having fun when you come through the stream, because it steered seriously when you come from the stream.
Yeah, it went around 80 degrees
Yeah.
by itself.
Well, the one tyre got in soft and didn't want to drive forward, and the other one said, "Oh, we'll turn it round in a circle."
We might need a little bit of weight on the front linkage.
Yeah, I did see you took a wise decision to reverse up that last little bit. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of fun, just on a little gentle...
Yeah, it's just when you've got a load of scrap and round bales and everything to avoid.
The thing is,
it just
to swing round to the left, there's a lot of room on the track, but to swing to the right...
The bales and everything's there.
Are in the way, so I decided to go to the left and backwards.
Bit of fun for the evening. Hey ho.
Well, that's it. It's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was in two minds whether to wash the mud off to make it a bit lighter.
Oh, you can do that in the daylight.
But I decided, nah.
Yeah. Well, if you left it sticking out a bit more, it'll wash off on its own.
I can let it wash off on its own when it rains.
I don't know whether it's... I don't know how much rain is due tomorrow, but it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
I don't know.
Oh, it'll be all right. Okay.
It's fine. It's not mine. It's fine.
Not mine is fine.
It's not mine. It's fine.